Mythos Busters, investigating the mystery, monsters, and madness of Arkham Horror, the card game.
Hello, and welcome to Mythos Busters. I'm Sean, and joining me today is a full friggin' crew. So let's see here. Let's start with Ian over in the corner. We got Ian.
Oh, hello.
We got Justin in the corner. I don't know. Is it a corner if it's a five, like a five arrangement?
You know, if we say it's a corner with confidence, it is.
There we go. We got Nick joining back so quickly again. I know only like 40 people have watched the stream from last weekend where Nick and I fumbled our way through without a trace, but he's already back.
Speak for yourself. I thought I did amazingly.
Well, you know, it just turns out when you bring two cloovers and you expect who to take care of the enemies, I guess.
Sorry, the goal was to die, right? That's what we were trying to do.
Exactly. And also joining us today is a very special guest. We are doing the Ironman, the Scarlet Keys Ironman prep stream today, and we brought in a ringer. We brought in an expert on the campaign. It is Michael, or DerBK, as you might know him otherwise on the internet, owner, author of Ancient Evil. So welcome, Michael. Thanks for joining.
Hello. Yeah, thanks for having me.
And now remind me, have you yourself ever done an Ironman or any kind of like long form Arkham in such a way?
Nothing like that, no. I only play alone, two-handed solo, and I don't have the mental stamina to sit alone in my room and play for a whole day. That doesn't work. This is something that is definitely something that would be interesting if I were to go to a convention or something and do it as part of that, but in my circumstances, that's just not happening.
Yeah, 100%. If it weren't for the social pressure, I wouldn't be able to do it either. Like if I'm just sitting at home, I generally I too primarily play two-handed solo at home, and have to take multiple breaks in between games. There ain't no way I'm sitting down and doing it all in one sitting. The people who can do Ironmans, we did this last stream. What is the plural of an Ironman?
Ironman events, I think, is what we talked
about. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
You're gonna come in here with your logic. But for doing Ironman events solo, that's a skill that I do not have. All right, so we've got a jam-packed, wonderful episode planned for you guys today. We got a few things going on. So what are we doing today? We're doing a few things. So first we're gonna give you a little special teaser for some Arkham Con content that has yet to be spoiled. So we're gonna get to that in a minute. But we're gonna talk about Ironman as an event that you might actually participate in as a human being in the world, and then we're gonna talk about Ironman as a game. Planning the campaign, planning your path. TSK gives a wild amount of choices compared to Iron Man events. I almost did Iron Men again. Compared to campaigns in the past. So we're going to talk through that. And I think that's going to give us a decent meaty discussion for today. So before we get to any of that though, let's do a little patron shout out. Justin, what's going on with patrons?
Yeah, we, it's been pretty quiet because we've been doing a little bit of con prep and stuff, but we do love to give a shout out to our board members. So, as always, shout out to Rick, John D, Kevin, John G, Ben, Carl, Jared, Jesse, Walker, Patrick, Morton, and Ian. Thank you, as always, and thank you to all of our patrons. You help us do a bunch of the crazy stuff we love to do and the community building. And we love you.
Yeah. We super appreciate the support, especially at a time when we're a little less consistent with putting out, content. Rest assured, though, we are in the background doing tons of stuff for the community, up to and including my special announcement. My favorite thing that I get to tell you guys is that Dissonant Voices is caught up, and the connection through Arkham Cards is brought up to date for our patrons. So we are very excited to be fully caught up on that. The monkey's off my back. The how long that had languished was torturing me, as I'm sure it was torturing a fair few of you. So anyway, Big thanks to North for getting the integration off the ground, and a huge thanks to the man Zizorba Daniel, Arkham Cards King, for picking up the torch and helping us get everything up to date. So check that out on our Patreon. Okay, so we have a special con teaser. Now this is related to, but separate from, technically, the Ironman of the Scarlet Keys. So in the vein of the Scarlet Keys kind of being the prevailing theme of the con, even if you're not participating in Ironman, the con team, the Arkham Con team, has come up with it's called the Scarlet Keys Unredacted. And this is a special, unofficial expansion to the Scarlet Keys that's going to be available to con goers. Everyone's going to get a copy of the extra encounter cards in their swag bag. And this is in addition to the custom scenario that has been previously teased by the con team. So we're getting some additional goodies that specifically line up with the Scarlet Keys, which is pretty sweet. So, the basic idea is it's going to have multiple alternate encounter sets that will swap out the standard encounter sets throughout the campaign. Some points they wanted me to point out is that we're going to have additional outsider enemies to expand the Hollows mechanic. This is not intended to drastically alter the goal or the intent of any of the scenarios. It might make some scenarios easier, it might make some harder. So this isn't like some, nightmare expansion for all of you Lord of the Rings heads out there. This is just purely an expansion. And the Arkham Con team will reveal the whole set when Iron Man teams are announced later this year. So if you'd like to use this in your Iron Man TSK run for a little variety, you will have the cards available to you, or at least know what they are. Obviously, you won't be able to pick up the cards until the con, but you can prep for it. So you have that option available to you. So yeah, but obviously that's completely optional. You get to decide to do it, and keep watch on the Arkham Con website and the Arkham Con newsletter for further info. But I'm pretty excited about that, and we get to decide whether or not we want to throw in the new extras. And I don't know where any of you guys are at. I'm still getting thrashed by normal Scarlet Keys, so I'm a little on the fence. But who knows? Once we get them in hand, it might be a different story.
Yeah, I've been doing some runs and I'm like, it's enough as is. I'm excited. I'm very excited for this, but for Iron Man, I'm like, uh-oh.
Yeah. So as we figure out our campaign path today, we'll have to decide whether or not that's a thing we want to look at. Now, again, obviously we have plenty of time to figure it out when the cards themselves actually get revealed. All right. Well, so moving on from there, you guys hear that?
No, are you okay?
Yeah.
I just.
Oh wait, no, yeah.
I don't know what that was, but
Yeah.
Weird. Anyway, so. Moving on, so let's talk a little bit about Iron Man the event, boys. I've got some show notes here that I could plug through, but I just want to say, how would you pitch or describe an Arkham Iron Man to the layman, or to even an Arkham fan who maybe hasn't done one yet? The silence speaks. The silence, it speaks.
It is an experience. It's playing through an entire campaign in a single sitting, but that doesn't fully encapsulate what an Iron Man truly is, which is an endurance test, and like the way you play Arkham rather changes just because of that setting of trying to play it all in one. Like suddenly you have to deal with fatigue in the later scenarios, and trying to make decisions under time pressure. And I realize that I'm focusing on the negative aspects of it, so not really selling it. But the point is, it's actually one of the most fun experiences, because you're doing that all with your group as a collective. So it's really like the ultimate. Like I've had this conversation with Scott before, that this is a cooperative game, so we don't really have like a championship like competitive card games do. But I feel like Ironman is like the equivalent like experience of like, not that it's competitive, but it's that kind of rigorous like planning and like planning throughout the year and combining with a group and really like practicing and really preparing for this event.
Yeah. It's Ian, I think it's fair to focus on the negative. That's why we all had the silence, right? Hey, play a bunch of Arkham, it's fun, but it's so much Arkham, and it's not just sit down and do that. It's everything that goes into it, and it's amazing. I have turned from, you guys know, a huge Iron Man skeptic. I would talk crap about it all the time to I love it, but boy, does it take some doing, take some planning, take some fortitude. I saw over in chat, Schultze says it's like planning the perfect heist and hoping everything works. And
That's
the perfect
appropriate.
heist takes a lot of planning. And then when you're in it, I mean, as someone who's obviously heisted a ton, so I can speak to it, it's great. But that planning hurts.
It's also easy. It's deceptively easy to early on in the event to be like, oh, we've got plenty of time. Like, we have all day. And I'm thinking specifically of like when we did Return to Carcosa last year, and we spent way too much time on the Last King getting every possible thing that we could, which set us up really well for the future. But then we did not have time to finish at the venue, and we had to pack up and move to Sean's place to wrap up the campaign. So like it's very easy to lose sight or early on to misjudge how long things are going to take. And just because you're doing well doesn't mean that you necessarily need to go after every little stretch goal, if that also then is going to, make the back end of the campaign that much more of a struggle.
And I assume that just like when you are watching a heist movie, you want something to go wrong so that you have something to look back on?
Yes. Actually, that's great. Because
regardless of what you want, things will go wrong because it's Arkham.
But I very much am the type of player where if everything's going smoothly, I get bored, especially in four player.
Yeah.
And that often is late, like the scenarios 5, 6, 7 of any given Ironman is kind of when things are going smoothly and we have a handle on stuff for the most part. And that's when I'm just kind of like, because I often play either killers or flex skaters. And so I'm like, what am I even doing? Why they're getting all the clues before enemies show up. Why am I even here? But oftentimes,
or Nick will play support and then roll his eyes anytime anyone asks to get healed.
Hey, I mean, you know what? That was it was support in name only. Like, I just needed to put a roll down, so I put support down, I guess. But usually by the time you get to the finale, even if everyone is set up really well and their decks are really singing, the finale often still throws a wrench or two at you that you weren't expecting, just by the nature of how they function. And so even if the middle gets a little like, okay, fine, by the time you get to the end, you have some pretty exciting moments. I'm thinking specifically of like the Forgotten Age and how that -5 just had it in for us in the finale. I think we drew it like 6 times in a row. Super fun event though. Like I really love participating in this every year.
Well, and there's no guarantee that the problem's going to come at the end. My first one, the virtual one we did.
Oh my God.
The Circle Undone, where again, we in theory had unlimited time as opposed to, we'll get to talking about venue time. I don't even remember how long it was. It was insane because that first
17
scenario,
hours.
dragged on for something like 3 or 4 hours just in the first scenario. And we were trying to not have that happen, and we just got bogged down. So we started on a bad foot and then spent the remaining 12 plus hours paying for it. It was great.
Yeah,
like 18 hours. I think
that's nuts.
It was like something.
That is nuts. I like in the moment I was so upset for missing it because I was moving literally moving that day. But now hearing you guys talking about it, I'm like, maybe that was the one to miss. Like maybe that's okay.
I think I got knocked out in that very first scenario. That's part of why it took so long. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tony. But yeah, I think there's like a level of pressure to the Ironman, at least that I personally feel, just because it is like this thing that you prepare for, and you're playing with your friends or a group. So it's not like a campaign at home. You lose, it sucks. Maybe you get a little mad, but like you just start another campaign and it's fine. But it's like, I think that's why we all feel a little bit of pressure, because we all prepare for this. And if the stuff starts to go wrong, then you feel like, but I think that for me, at least, that's where the fun comes in, because that's where the successes feel more satisfying, when you like, you have this pressure going on and you actually pull it off.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't, but when you do, it feels better than your normal Arkham game.
Yeah, well, and I think it certainly sounds a certain way, that so much of what we're talking about is colored by the challenges of doing an Ironman. But obviously the reward is worth it all. But in pitching it to anyone, I do think kind of laying out how it is different and how it is challenging compared to playing Arkham normally is really important. It is a test of will, I'll tell you that much. And the thing that we have always said, I think Scott was the man who coined this one, for Ironman, finishing is winning. You know, it doesn't really matter if you get the best resolution or if no one died along the way. Like, as a person, as an Arkham player, finishing the con finishing the run is truly the win. And, you know, it's such a good time. Obviously, here we are on when did we start doing this? 2016, 2017. We're 10 years of Ironmans in. So anyway, so we're gonna cover a bunch of information here. The one thing I wanted to point people at is that if you go to the Arkham Con website, arkhamcon.org, you will find, and here, let me switch over to it here. You will find a wonderful collection of a lot of the information we're going to be covering here, and some additional stuff that the Arkham Con team threw together that probably will cover stuff that we won't get to. So check out arkhamcon.org/Ironman. This is your Ironman Central. It's got general Ironman information. We got a bunch of stuff in here that's specific to the Scarlet Keys, as we are going to discuss. And then as well, about halfway down the page, we'll get to this a little bit later, there is the Ironman planning spreadsheet, in the tradition of the spreadsheets that Ian and Scott and Nick, I believe, in our years past, have compiled for us, planning these things out. The Arkham Con team has thrown one together, and boy, it is wonderful, because for how crazy the Scarlet Keys is as a campaign, especially planning it out all in one day, it's wonderful, succinct info that I would point everyone at. So check that out. And then I believe, Justin, we had another friend of the show throw in. So Chad, right?
Yeah. I mean, just as you're doing your planning, and obviously the Arkham Con website there, it's great. Michael's website's going to have some great run-throughs, history on all this Scarlet Keys stuff. But then I think it was probably 2 or 3 weeks ago, the Restricted Collection, so run by the head librarian, Chad, who's one of our friends and who's working with the Arkham Con team as well. He did a prep episode based on the run-through he had done ahead of time. And I do not remember the details. I've not listened to his episode, but he was telling me about his run, and it was some sort of like galaxy brain thing to get a certain results at the end. I'm like, I didn't even know you could do that. So definitely check it out. He's a great resource in general for all things Arkham. Yeah. Oh, he is also the one who does the ultimatums. You will see that on over on the Arkham Con page, but he issues alternative ultimatums that you don't have to do, but if you want to, he's designed some things that can make the Iron Man run harder. I don't know. I'm very much for, hey, let's just play this thing vanilla. The game's hard enough. But yeah, I know he puts a lot of thought into it. So check that out.
Yeah. So many ways to spice up your experience, really. So I will also throw out there that we have signups for teams, so we can account for all of this. So Josh, our lead cultist and next of kin notifier, compiles all this and gets teams together each year. So if you already have a team planned, sign up. And if you don't have a team, sign up and you will get assigned to a team once things get rolling here. And that's all on the Arkham Con website as well.
And I will toss out there too. So that is for if you are going to be at Arkham Con, right? But we do have some people who can't make it, but play along virtually. And there will also be a Discord, a batch of channels that's sort of running for, hey, how's it going? What, did anybody run into issues here? Here's how we finished, different updates. So if you want to just play along at home, you don't need to sign up there, but be ready to play and to post how it's going. Because this is like one of the days during the year when we get a ton of people playing Arkham all at the same time.
Yeah.
And in the same direction too. It's a lot of fun to work through the Discord channel with the play alongs and see people's scenario summaries and resolutions and how everything's going. And also, much like trivia, the team names are some of the best parts of Iron Man, so that's always fun to see too. So continuing in the tradition of the con Iron Mans, I'm gonna not stop doing that apparently.
Just throw everything out the door and say Irons Man.
Irons Man.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Pluralize the
there we go.
preference.
Turn it into a verb.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in the grand tradition of Mythos Busters Irons Mannings, we're going to be doing the drawing of the weaknesses. Now, this used to be kind of a thing we'd do to kick off the day, but unfortunately it takes a little bit of time, and throughout the years, the actual hours of the event center, which, spoiler alert, that's the true final boss of this event, are the actual game center hours. They have been closing in on us, so we've kind of shifted away from the drawing of the weaknesses being a communal event and more of an individual team event. So the Arkham Con team will have a member of their team with a full set of weaknesses on hand. So you can just find them, and you and your team can go draw your weaknesses, have a little bit of fun. Completely optional. You don't have to do it. But if you get that, like, killer weakness that you were really not hoping for, it is really fun to say, I'm a coward and I reject my fate, and toss it back and just kind of make it a thing.
You don't say it. You have to yell it.
You should yell it. You should yell it. So as far as being a human playing Iron Man on the day, some things to keep in mind. A, hydrate or dihydrate. Plan your water bottles. The game center has a water fountain, but just make sure that you're keeping your brain fueled. Plan your meals ahead of time, so you're not trying to figure it out on the day in between scenarios 3 and 4 where your brain's already starting to groan. You got a plan already. You don't have to worry about it. I believe there will be food trucks there on the day, or a food truck there on the day. So check the Arkham Con website for more information on which one that will be, so you can plan accordingly. And just kind of do what you need to do to take care of yourself. The Game Center space is very busy, and I don't think it baffles sound very well. And it can be loud. And the loud is one thing. If you need to bring headphones for yourself, go ahead and do that. That can get pretty overstimulating. For me, the tough part about it being so loud is that any communication you're doing with your team is done at about this level. and by the end of the 7th hour of having to speak everything at that volume, your voice will start to go. So
yeah,
I guess another reminder for water.
Oh, this should be the year that we get like pilot headphones and then noise canceling, and then we just click a button and then we all are communicating through there. Get real serious about it.
I'm in on that. And you would just do the little microphone piece that's like right next to your lips so that it doesn't catch up with all the outside sound.
Yep.
Tango Niner. No, I don't know. Anyway, guys, any other tips you would give people showing up to Iron Man as far as just being a human sitting down to play?
Bring snacks. Stuff that isn't messy, isn't going to get on your fingers. Granola bars are perfect. Treat it like it's really it feels dumb to say this, but like treat it like it's an actual Iron Man. Like treat it like you're like you're running a long race, because it feels I won't say it feels like that as someone who has run a lot in the past, but there's things that there's considerations you need to take into account that are similar. And the Zenter offers food, and you will be able to get up and get food between scenarios and stuff like that, but you never know when it's just like, boy, I'm starting to flag. I could use some calories in me right now, that sort of thing. So having granola bars or something on hand really helps with that.
I would say also take this advice that we often don't take for ourselves, which is get a good amount of sleep the night before.
What's that? What's sleep? You don't need that.
Do as we say, not as we do.
Yeah, exactly. Don't copy our example.
You got to argue about Star Wars until 4 a.m. That's what you got to do.
It's not my fault Ian brought up The Last Jedi again, okay?
Make sure you, start your debate about Last Jedi around 2 a.m. Yeah. That's the optimal time.
I swear, you guys, you promise me that every year too, because I go home because I'm nearby. I go home and you're like, all right, and we're going to stay up for like an hour and then go to bed. And then you just drag ass in the day of, and you're like, and it's always something like, hey, we got into a Star Wars debate and it was 4 a.m. I'm not mad about it. I'm just like, at this point, it just is. But
I wish that I could blame my poor performance on lack of sleep. That is very rarely the case, as we saw on stream already. Sorry, Ian, finish your thought.
You always look hung over, even though you're not.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, it's just the fatigue is real by the time you get to the back. Like the first few scenarios, you're running on adrenaline, but if you're running sleep deprived, that fatigue really hits. But do what you can. I realize the Arkham Con is a stimulating time, and you're with people or your friends often late into the night. So yeah, but maybe the night before Ironman's the night that you try to call it a little early.
Yeah,
if you can.
if you can. So then I guess maybe just a few. Oh, sorry, Justin. Go ahead.
Yeah, we got a question. Big Kahuna asked, "How did the puzzle boards work?" And so I was gonna give a rundown of that, and then pitch something to you guys too for this year. So for anyone who has not followed along and are wondering what the puzzle board we're talking about is, if you are into doing puzzles, there are accessories you can buy that it's basically like a varying sizes. The one I have, I think, is like 3.5 feet by 2.5 feet. You would do a puzzle on it if you were in smaller space, so you couldn't always keep it on the table. Then you can fold the edges in and just move it, and it keeps it secure. And so my theory is that these things can speed up Ironman because so much of the time would be spent doing setup. In the past, we've tried to do it where everybody brings, a scenario with the encounter cards ready, other things. But last year was the first year I had these puzzle boards to try it out. And just based on the nature of, last Buster Con, so the last one in this official series for Mans. I don't know.
It was for Edge of the Earth.
Yeah, it was for Edge of the Earth. So it didn't, that campaign didn't need it as much. So we had it, but it just didn't need it. I'm going to pitch to you guys here. I'd like to try it again this year because now, if we know roughly where we are pathing, I think then we can have it set up. And then it's just, all right, here we go. Let's get the encounter cards in. I have my, the 2 sets of the Scarlet Keys campaign I have, so I can have a bunch of them ready. And then it's just, when we're done, move it to the side, fold it up, close it, it's done, bring the next one up. Even if that saves us 10 minutes, because let's be real, we could set up faster, but it's probably 10-ish minutes setting it up. But rinse and repeat over 5 times we do that, 6 times we do that, that saves us an hour.
Well, and I think Scarlet Keys might be a better fit for it in general because so much of, if I'm remembering correctly, so much of Edge of the Earth, the map like kind of unfolds.
Yeah.
Technically, so like having all of it out didn't matter a whole lot. And aside from Without a Trace, and I'm trying to remember if Congress of the Keys falls into this category, but I think in general, the Scarlet Keys scenarios are pretty self-contained. They start with pretty much all of the locations that you'll do in each scenario out on the board, and there aren't like a ton of extra locations that get added. So
doesn't Alaska have a secondary map? I think that's the only one I can think of where it's you like start on 4 locations and then you move to 4 others.
Yeah, there's a few that has some stuff.
Dancing Mad as well.
Oh, Dancing Mad too, yeah. And what's the the one with the chase in the market?
Dealings in the Dark.
Dealings
I
in the
think,
Dark
is
has
one.
that. Yeah. So, but other than those.
All right. Well,
four-
I'm just talking out of my ass, apparently.
Well, but,
Other than half the campaign.
but I think the difference here is instead of just unfolding as it goes, we know that's coming up.
Yes.
And so in theory, we could have it set up and just be like, ignore this part of the board.
Sure.
Mhm. Worth a shot.
Yeah.
But to that point, I think it does bear mentioning like ways that people might help their play over long form Arkham. For instance, it's pretty traditional for us to each have our own individual chaos bag.
Oh yeah, that's a must. I think.
And I, it kind of depends. I think you should do it if you can. Where it gets dicey is if anyone's playing with Bless or Curse or anything that does that kind of like intense seal mechanics might be the same. Anytime you're doing like intense bag manipulation and changing the makeup of the bag, that can get a little bit rough to make sure that everyone's bag is keeping up with that. Doable. But in general, I think if you're eliminating the whole thing that you do in Arkham where it's like, okay, I've done the math, I'm up 4, okay, where's the bag? Okay, and then someone's got it in their lap and they pass it over and then you're like, shit, how far up was I?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's just me that does that, but
No, that's not just you. Also, like, you take a token out and you have it in your hand, and then you see the +1 still on the table, and you're like, damn it, how long has that been out there? Like, all right, fine, we'll redo this one, ignore everything else. So, like, yeah, everyone having their own bag is a nice sort of safety net to those little errors that can otherwise just kind of stack up and take time.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it probably also bears mentioning that you probably want to have a little bit of a talk with your team ahead of time to determine kind of what your collective tolerance for bullshittery in play is. And what I mean by that is in like Nick in a moment like that, you're like, okay, well, how many tests do we go back and redo? Okay, well, sometimes if we think that we've got a turn planned that's not going to affect anything else on the board, it can be effective and efficient to have kind of simultaneous actions going on, even though that is technically not clean per the rules. Sometimes it makes sense to do it that way, but when you get too far down that road, sometimes you can do the things where it's like, oh, okay, well, I was moving into this location, now something's happening there, and now we've crossed timelines, and how do we fix this? So kind of figuring out what everyone's tolerance for walkbacks, and if I had known that was going to be a thing, I would have done this instead type things.
That sounds like it could save you some seconds, but when it goes bad and you have to clean it up, then it will cost you minutes. So
that is often
you have
the case,
to be very careful.
Yeah, I think it's probably generally, just as a general rule, probably best to avoid simultaneous play unless it's, again, I play Guardian a lot, unless I'm just like, I'm just playing an asset and clicking for resources twice. Like, that's my turn. So I'm just going to do it. You do whatever you're doing.
Yeah. I would say it's a good rule of thumb that if you're being non-interactive and you're taking no tests during your turn, you're probably pretty safe.
Yeah.
But, you got to figure that out with your group. I think we, last year when we did the Return to Carcosa Ironman, we kind of broke Kip. So our friend Kip is a little bit farther down the orthodox, the rules orthodoxy side of the spectrum, and we ended up being a little loosey-goosey because none of us had played Carcosa that recently. We played it a lot when it was out, but a lot of us had forgotten. And this works this way now, and that, and then we did a fair few walkbacks, and I think Kip has played Arkham once since that happened. So, yeah, just clear communication, knowing where everyone's at on that in that regard, probably a good idea. I'm just trying to think anything else as far as like making play efficient, that sort of thing. Any other tricks that we've picked up throughout the years?
If you're not using puzzle boards, splitting up who is prepping which scenarios, like it helps to take some time beforehand and look at what scenarios use which encounter sets, and what you have access to versus what every other person in your team has access to. And generally, each person can prep maybe 2 scenarios in a campaign. without having to swap encounter sets, and that saves a lot of time. Not having to dismantle, sort, and rebuild encounter decks saves you a lot of time. So definitely split that responsibility.
Yeah, good call out.
But I will throw as a follow-up to that, when you are done, especially if anyone on your team is leaving the next day, you're going to be tired, but go through and just check because sometimes you will have a card that gets in with the scenario cards, and otherwise you will. It wasn't from Ironman, but you will end up in the scenario that Ian and I had, where one of my Excelsior cards end up with him for years. Now, granted, we could have mailed it had either of us remembered, but we talked about it and then didn't do it, and it wasn't a big deal. But now imagine that you actually play more often than I do, and it's probably an issue.
I like to think of it as an extended stewardship, really.
Yeah,
for sure.
I knew it was safe. I knew it was in good hands.
This card's on the enemy exchange program. It's spending some time in California.
I think another efficiency thing is, which might be obvious, but it's just something we've done every year, is kind of plan out what your upgrades are going to be for your deck, because the time isn't just playing the scenario, but in between you want to make that efficient. So like if you're spending all your time looking through your collection to see what you're going to upgrade, you can be like as the level of like how I have like spreadsheets and have the exact things, or you could just have a collection of like a curated collection of cards that you want to look through, but at least have some kind of idea of what you're going to upgrade to.
Yep, anything you can shortcut it as best you can. And I guess one other thing I'll throw out there, kind of in the vein of everyone bring, splitting the difference on bringing, self-contained pre-built scenarios. It's usually a good idea for everyone to bring their own copies of the scenario rewards or anything else, or the weaknesses or anything else that might get shuffled into your player deck. It's often just best for everyone to have their own copies of those cards for the campaign with them, so that way you're not doing the thing where you're, unsleeving and taking someone else's card and possibly, taking extended stewardship of it for 2 years. So I highly recommend on that one. All right. Is it time?
I think it's time.
Are we starting the stream now?
Yep. The real Mythos Busters starts here. Let's go. All right. So, Michael, we are here for your expertise. If someone is going to plan a path through the Scarlet Keys as a campaign, where would you start?
My first question would be, what's your goal, right? So you said earlier that you could look at an Ironman like a speedrun. If you're saying it's a speedrun, then I've got good news for you. Scarlet Keys is the shortest campaign. It's even shorter than the one in the core box. If you want to, you can do 2 scenarios and be done with it, and that's it. So obviously, in this case, you will probably want some extra goal that you want to achieve, and Scarlet Keys has a lot of those. And you will want to talk about it and plan from there on, because it will inform everything else. Because with every other question that you are going to ask in the future, like what decks to play, what investigators, or what to plan for, the answer in Scarlet Keys is always, it depends. And you have to start with the route you want to take.
Yeah. So it probably goes without saying, but I'll say it anyway. Huge spoiler alert for the Scarlet Keys. Obviously, we are diving in deep as you can go. There are no sacred secrets at this point. So I guess where we started is so I guess let me put it to you as a question, actually, Michael. As far as the endings that you might aspire to, is there a clear, like, good ending in the Scarlet Keys as there is in some of the other campaigns? Or like a best resolution overall?
Probably the one after Without a Trace, because you actually deal with the issue of the outsiders, which is otherwise a bit unresolved, and you just deal with the coterie in some form or another. So if you are looking for the narrative that really completes everything, I think that's the best ending in that regard. It's also conveniently the one that is maybe the most involved and interesting.
Okay.
So,
well, there it is, boys. And unless we're shying away from our Iron Man philosophy of shooting for the best ending, I think we're especially now. So Nick and I, as a little bit of background for anyone who maybe missed that stream last weekend, Nick and I did kind of a faux standalone run through of Without a Trace, just so we could remember how it works and how this would feel on the day. Because I thought I remember it being kind of like crazy with the mental overhead, and I think, Justin, when you and I played it on the original, our first Iron Man, when it dropped, I think it was just the day, and figuring out how shadows and locations play is a little bit of a thing, and I think on stream Nick and I still have a rules question that we weren't fully able to resolve.
There was surprisingly one question that went unanswered, where one bit of card text was like, wait, have we been doing this wrong the whole time? And then in checking the rules reference and everything, or the campaign guide, it's like, I don't think we have, but the wording on this card implies that we have been. So there's still a little bit of a question up in the air regarding that. But overall, I'm going to finish your thought for you. It wasn't too bad. Like, mental overhead wise, it all felt pretty intuitive in the moment, like how everything functioned. Granted, it was the one piece of Arkham I've played outside of work for a while, but I felt pretty confident. I think we're in a good spot to deal with it come Iron Man.
Yeah. That was kind of the route I was leaning towards anyway, and I think looking at this lovely Iron Man planning sheet that folks in the Arkham Con group put together, which is
let me pull that up.
Really well constructed. There's a section for campaign decisions and how the vote goes, but specifically there's like the different routes you can take laid out. And the Without a Trace path is basically a 6 scenario route, where a lot of the others are 7 or 8. So I think that's a benefit for Iron Man, that it's a little bit on the shorter side and shorter than a lot of the other Iron Man. Oh God, now I'm doing it. Iron Man that we've played before.
Irons Man.
Irons Man's. Yeah. So yeah, that'll be nice. And also the specific scenarios that are laid out in this route are some of the ones that I'm more confident in completing successfully, I'll say. And it avoids some of the ones that I consider to be the harder ones in the campaign. So,
and to be clear, on the sheet, which objective path are you looking at?
So the Without a Trace path would be the one that is titled here, "The Cell Knows the True Nature of the Red Coterie." Got it.
Yeah, so what you're seeing on screen, ladies and gentlemen, is the fruits of the Arkham Con team's labor in putting together this wonderful guide. Like I said, this is linked on the Arkham Con Iron Man website, and you can see different paths. They've even bothered to put the maps in here. It's
well, and if this is the spreadsheet version, if you scroll down further on that page, you can have like a printed off foldable passport of this, fully designed. Those are awesome. Yeah, so definitely check out that page.
Very good. Yeah.
It's a thing of beauty. They have done such a good job with it this year. So anyway, go check that out. Okay, so sounds like we have our path, but for the benefit of anyone who doesn't want to mess with Without a Trace, Michael, what other if we move beyond the Without a Trace or no Without a Trace question, what other questions might guide someone's path?
So maybe to just stick with Without a Trace for a second.
Sure.
The pure doing of the prerequisites for that scenario and the path, doing the path, takes you 17 time. So around roughly half of what you got, and can do a lot of things on the sides and customize it like you want. Like the full path that you have here definitely looks great, but if someone looks at it and has other ideas, there's definitely a lot of room to get some other things done if they want to, or if they see some scenario on there they don't like and want to avoid, whatever.
Excellent.
So
Okay.
the other considerations are, of course, the other special endings that you have. You can end up either overthrowing the coterie, you can join them, or you can have it being hollowed out by the outsiders. That's the other 3 special endings that have some other prerequisites where you need to have the favor of specific members of the group. And, of course, win the vote in the end. Because if you don't, that's its own ending. Not a very special one, but it is an ending.
Because they can. What happens if because the coterie just ices you, right? You're just dead if the vote goes badly. Or I'm trying to remember. Does it then? No, like they all become enemies, right?
I think you still play the scenario.
Got it.
Yeah, there's something that comes in and like stops the execution before
that's
gonna
right.
happen. Yeah.
Lucky us.
Yeah. Yeah, I think one of the things that pops out to me about Scarlet Keys is, unlike a lot of other campaigns, there's not really like as much of like, oh, this is the best ending and this is like it's more like, what flavor of conclusion do you want? Do you want like, and actually I haven't even I didn't see some of these endings myself playing through the game until I was prepping for this, like the joining the red coterie, super fun. Like you choose a piece of clothing on your investigator art to become Scarlet, and like you full on join them. And so like that could be something your group decides just because it's cool that you want to do. So it's not really about like, oh, we did a better ending than we could have. It's more about like, to me it seems like it's more about like what do you want to accomplish in it, I guess.
So to that end, beyond Without a Trace, I mean, okay, so if we're about to say what I want to say, we have to talk about what investigators we're playing, which is kind of going out of sync. So I'm so sorry, show notes, but we're going to do that for a quick minute. Nick is currently planning to play Vincent, which is the relevant bit of information here, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later. But I think an early dead heat to get the last blossom for Vincent sounds like a glorious and wonderful thing. What say you guys? Everyone takes in the thick of it so that Vincent has something to do, and then just like turn 1 every scenario afterward. You just pop the last blossom. Everyone heals a bunch of stuff, and everyone's got it on the mend. Like,
seems like a good start.
It seems pretty great to me. I'm hearing no objections.
I think it depends on how else it changes the path, right? Like,
right, yeah, exactly.
Like we have if we look at the itinerary over on the Arkham Con site with the actual Without a Trace version, that scenario is not even in there. So then it's like, how do we morph? I mean, we can do our own thing too, but remind me what the blossom does.
The blossom is a key that when you shift it on its good side, each investigator at your location heals a damage and a horror. If I remember correctly.
I can check my physical cards. I got it right here.
Yeah.
I'm already looking.
Oh, well, I'll put my box back then.
Heal 1 and 1, yeah.
Yeah, okay, well, hang on.
Each investigator at your location.
Okay.
We needn't have even searched anything else because the Arkham Con planning sheet has the keys as a specific tab. So here we go. Yep, heal 1 damage and 1 horror from each investigator at your location. Shift it. And then the other side shift is remarkably light and easy to play with. All you have to be able to do is heal 1... No. All you have to be able to do is heal 1 damage from 1 enemy in play. Now, however, when you shift it, you heal 1 damage from each enemy in play. You just have to manufacture it that there's only 1 damage on 1 enemy when you do it. And it's super
pretty
easy.
light, yeah.
It's compared to some of the keys, getting them shifted to the right side is it's very palatable.
So, little bit of good news, bad news about that plan. The good news
Alright.
is Marrakesh, where the scenario is situated, is right next to London. So putting that into the route is as easy as could be. You can either do it right in the beginning, even as the first scenario, or you could do it on the way back when you come back to London for the whatever it is you bring back. I think you beat Taylor again for something.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And
All right. What's the bad news?
The bad news is that Marrakesh is really, really hard as a scenario if you want to play it first. Like it's one of those scenarios you can use to benchmark a real try-hard fighter like Tony or someone like that, and they still have to work to get it done.
Yeah.
And then if you mess up the scenario, it also has some brutal consequences for you with lots of mental trauma and some things like that.
Mental trauma is no good because I'm a doctor, not a psychiatrist.
Damn it, Jim.
Yeah, I suspect that's why it was left off the route, was because I feel like Dead Heat and Shades of Suffering are considered to be like the two hardest in the campaign. So I feel like that's probably why they left it. And also, yeah, I do have that stark, uncomfortable memory of it having bad consequences if you fail.
Yeah. So probably then what I'm hearing is that when we ultimately decide our path, we probably need to plan a stream where we hit Dead Heat at level 4 or whatever you come out of Riddles and Rain at, and see how we do, and maybe just get a couple reps in, so that way when we hit the day, that's not going to be an early loss for the path.
To throw another option into the ring, one thing that I personally like to do in almost all of the Scarlet Keys runs that I have played is do the Constantinople, Alexandria, Marrakesh triangle as basically the first thing in the campaign, and you can do that from either way. You can start at Marrakesh and then do the other two, which is of course the risky version, but gives you the Blossom as a very strong artifact right from the start. Or you can start at Constantinople, which isn't super difficult, and Alexandria is fine as well. Can load up on some XP there, and then go to visit what's her name? Amaranth? Yeah. I think so.
Yeah, okay, all right. Yeah, and it is nice that there's that little nexus of those scenarios in the beginning that are within easy reach, so you can just kind of pound all three of them out in pretty short order. So I'll throw another question out there. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Michael.
And I see that on the path that is in the notes here, there's already Constantinople and Alexandria as early visits, and one could accommodate that pretty easily to put Marrakesh in there, I think.
Yeah. So the thing that stands out in my mind is that I have not played a single Scarlet Keys scenario beyond 2 players.
Yes.
So, and I think that's notable because, as we have found out in years past, there are certain scenarios that feel one way in low player counts, and they feel a very, very different way in high player counts. And I have a feeling that the Shadows mechanic is going to lean ladder for the scenarios that lean heavy into Shadows cards and shuffling decoys and all that sort of stuff.
I'm so nervous about it. I've in the last couple weeks I've done run-throughs of this twice. Two-handed solo, and then I got to the end of the second one. I was like, okay, I think I got that. I'm like, oh, damn it, that doubles. And it's just where that math scales differently to that goes from, oh, that's kind of manageable to, uh-oh.
I think the oh god, what is it? Sanguine Shadows, the Carmen Sandiego scenario is pretty tenable in solo and 2-player, but it scares the shit out of me in 3+ players. Or maybe it's easier because that's always the theory, right? It's easier because you're spread out, you're able to do more, but it doesn't always scale in a linear fashion. So I guess in that regard, we do have to kind of take that into account as we plot our path, because 4-player is a different beast than 2-player, which is generally what we're all used to. But the question I want to throw out to the group is, I don't know if everyone on stream knows this at this point. I don't know what everyone's depth into Arkham is at this point, but we have not 1 but 2 developers for Arkham on this stream. We've got Nick, who's the the main one. We've also got Ian, and Ian made Fortune and Hey, it's not Folly. Is it Folly? Or is it Fate?
It is Folly.
It is Folly. Why do I want to say Fate? I want to say Fortune and Fate, and I'm like, hang on.
You were trying to make it plural, fortunes and follies.
Yeah.
Because you got plural on the brain.
So our boy Ian freelanced a standalone scenario that slots nicely into this campaign and is a really fun 2-parter standalone, if I may be so bold. Ian,
You may.
As it's your baby, do you have strong opinions on whether you'd like to tackle that or whether we should stay the hell away from it in the context of Iron Man?
I dearly love that scenario, and I designed it. I would not recommend including it in Iron Man, honestly, for the sole purpose of how long it is. If you're doing it at home, sure. Yeah, if you're doing it at home and you have unlimited time, then you can certainly do that.
That might be a fun one to do as like a standalone the day before. Like, I know there's plenty on the schedule, so we'll have to see if we've got time for it. But that might be fun to do as like a standalone the day before.
Sure.
And then, we can decide whether we want to house rule us, like bringing the key into the actual camp. All right, well, Nick's giving me me cockhead.
Let me go through all the standalone scenarios and find the rewards I like, and I
got
got
these very specifically linked.
My last dungeon master gave me this. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
All right, fine. Buddy duddy. All right, cool. All right, well then I guess that's that question answered.
I'm all for playing it though. Don't get me wrong. I love the scenario. I think it's super fun.
Yeah.
But I think
well, then we might just have to 4-player it on Friday then at some point. All right. So, all right, Michael, sorry, I think I derailed your flow pretty hard there. So, once you kind of pick your end goal, what are some other things we would want to think about in plotting your path?
You can have some other interesting side goals, for sure. Like, you can try to collect as many keys as possible. You could try to collect a bunch of story assets, like some people around that you can recruit and that are actually pretty good, like Flint, the Inspector, and Dr. Iravan, and I think there was one more.
You can get Quinn, but it's like really
right. You can get Eric Quinn instead of Aliki.
Yeah.
When you do the without a trace, right?
But if you do that, am I mistaken that you preclude the ending that you might be going for if you take Quinn in without a trace, or can you still get the normal resolution out of that?
I'm not sure, but I think you can.
Or maybe it just affects the vote. Maybe that's what I'm thinking.
I don't think, as long as you end up rescuing the Red Gloved Man from the scenario, you should get on that path and bypass all of the vote.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, there are some like Flint that are worth picking up without even going to the scenario or something. So if you get near Shanghai, that could be worth an idea. Or maybe you have played a previous game of Scarlet Keys and have some open unfinished business with Susan or Amaranth and want to get that done. They have special endings as well that might be worth going for. And these are things that you can do on the side next to the main goals, which is fairly interesting and gives you a lot of agency to build something. Although maybe not for the Iron Man. If you want to keep it simple and slick, then that might not be the most optimal way.
Yeah, well, and it all probably also bears mentioning, I don't know if anyone's going to be brave enough to do this for Iron Man, but this is the campaign where it makes the most sense to slot in a non-related standalone scenario. While you're bombing around Alexandria, maybe you hoof it to Cairo and play a little.
God, let's put in 2 and the hardest scenarios in Arkham's history. Yeah, that sounds fun.
Oh, come on, the Night Gaunt whistles are worth it, right? I get someone the Kopesh.
You didn't want to do Fortune and Folly, but this is your idea.
So that option exists. If you've got a standalone that you would like the reward from, or just want to play, or whatever your motivation might be, totally possible to do it. If I recall correctly, you just pay the XP cost for the standalone in time. That's how it works in Scarlet Keys. And then you can get there from the closest node that's actually on the map. A little creative geography sometimes, I guess.
And it's a pretty even trade too, so you can usually expect to get like an XP per time that you invest. So that's a solid trade for sure. If you expect to get more XP out of an standalone that you than you put in, then standalones are actually one of the better ways to get XP in this campaign.
Which, yeah. No, I won't go on my diatribe of standalones. Like, don't punish players for playing more Arkham. But since we actually have a time mechanic in this campaign, it makes total sense, and I feel like it's the best implementation of it. So, are there any standalones that we would even consider, boys? Or is everyone so afraid of dead heat that we just don't want to fuck with anything extra?
I mean, for
quick
me, it's
quick round of Blob in the end.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm not even thinking of the rewards. It's the time. It's the real life, time.
Right.
And even this year, which I mean, there is more time than there has been. Fun fact: I was able to negotiate extended hours for us, so we have more time, but it's still going to go so fast because even a couple extra hours, unless we're tearing through something, I don't recall anything that's so amazingly good that it's worth risking that when all it's going to take is one of these scenarios going sideways, or not just sideways. If it goes entirely south and we fail it and have to change paths at the end, like I don't.
There are some standalones that just kill you if you fail them too. So
that's not a good idea.
We can put in Excelsior, and if we do poorly, we can just play it a second time. Like, you know what I mean? Literally just run it back. Like, that's part of the whole thing.
Just loop it.
Who cares about time at that point? Like, no, we're going to do it twice.
Yeah. I think the tricky thing is because a lot of standalones are designed to be on the longer side. I'm trying to think of what's probably the
shortest is probably Carnival or
or
Rougarou. Like, the first two are probably pretty short.
The first couple were on the shorter side, yeah.
But what came after Carnival? Labyrinths, I guess
think it was
count that.
It was Labyrinths or
Oh my
Slumber.
God! Do we do Labyrinths of Loops?
Just
split into 3 groups.
Work with 3 groups and be like, all right. So
that would actually be pretty cool.
Don't tempt me, Frodo. That's rad. And it's been long enough since I played Labs that I've probably forgotten most of the puzzle solutions.
Yeah.
All right. Well, silly ideas aside, it's an option. It's an option. I think it sounds like our general consensus is that we're sticking in the realm of Scarlet Keys, though.
I think that's safest. I mean, even this route that we're looking at is 6 scenarios, and we're going to add 1 to that. That's pretty much a full campaign right there. You know what I mean? Like, that's we're 1 shy of 8, and I don't think we should feel beholden to get to 8. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
fair.
No, not at all.
Well, speaking of, Justin, I think we might have been better served to say this earlier, but since you brought it up, like I mentioned, the actual final boss of Ironman is just the operating hours of the venue you're playing in. What are the hours going to be this year?
Gotta jump over to the website.
I'm trying to think. In the pre-Game Center days, it was like 9 to midnight. Am I remembering that
Sounds
correctly?
right to
we
me,
generally got Ironman rolling by like 10, so you had like a full 14 hours.
Hence why we did the drawing of the weaknesses that day.
And
it took roughly an hour.
Yeah, and I was able to get us back to 9 to midnight for day 3. Yeah, the rest of the days it is their standard. So the Thursday is 10 to 10, Fridays 10 to 10, was able to work something out with them. It is 9 to midnight on the Saturday, and then it's 10 to 4
That's beautiful.
on the Sunday.
That's beautiful.
So you're welcome.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
That was not a short ask, but I was persistent.
I don't doubt. All right. So Michael, if what else should people consider? What else you got?
Specifically for the Ironman, something to keep in mind is that you do not have to spend all of the 34 time that you have. You can end earlier. And
yeah, because Tunguska opens up when?
Is it 17? 17 is what you need to do all of the without a trace things in
got it.
isolation, and then can build everything around it.
Nick, it would be the interludes at the back, I believe.
I have the.
Yeah, that's what I'm checking.
Are you checking? Okay.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
Maybe it's like 20.
But I think it was fairly early, like in the.
I feel like it's 20 or somewhere right in there.
Or maybe it is just on the. Is it just on the campaign calendar, the time tracker? Is it like a?
They have that. The symbols are on there.
There's something on 20.
There is one on 20.
But...
There is something on 20. I'm reading it. I'm scanning real quick for Tunguska, and I don't see it on 20.
No.
I'll find. You guys keep.
No,
talking
20 is the
yourselves.
thing where the keys get stolen, I think. So
yeah.
There are some.
Yes.
The other advantage to finishing early is not just being done for the Ironman, but also that you do not get additional cultist tokens into your chaos bag for the final. And if
Which
you
is
are
a
that
blessing.
fast, you don't even get one of your keys stolen and have to run after it, which could be interesting.
So, yeah, Tunguska opens on after 15 time.
Ooh.
And then the keys get stolen on 20.
Ooh, so if we
you
pull
could
it
blitz
tight
it.
enough, that's tempting. And you know what? Like being able to finish Ironman and like mill around and talk to people for a little while before the place closes has an appeal.
Yeah, that normally happens when we lose.
And I will say as much. When you have this ending, you have so much support from the other coterie members in the final scenario that whatever little XP you have doesn't really, it definitely makes up for it. So,
that's right, because you get all those story assets.
You can really ride those to victory for the last thing. You have so many keys and people at your disposal at that point. It doesn't really matter if you go in there with like 15 XP in your deck.
Yeah, I mean, I care at this point, without getting into like full planning, the things I care about at the end after having gone through this is I want the Sable Glass, however we get it, because then that's the one that lets us look at things. And so if we have the coterie helping us, that then eliminates a ton of the guesswork. If right at the very end where things could go sideways. And then I personally want the Claret Knight, the guy who can refill my guns. And past that, I don't care. Sure. I'm just here to play.
Finishing an Ironman with 15 XP seems kind of like a problem.
I'm trying to think now.
I feel like we should be at least double
Yeah,
that.
I mean, I guess we'll talk about the decks we plan to play in a minute, but I'm trying to think of how much XP I need before I'm like minimally like operational, and I think it might be like 12 to 15.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what I was going to ask too, is that because Michael, you brought up how really in an ideal situation, if you were approaching this wisely, you would not choose your investigators until you have chosen your route. And we did not choose this wisely. We're not approaching this wisely because we all have our investigators. And I think we were all expecting to do without a trace, but it was never like set in stone. So I think it is probably worth it to get like your assessment as the expert in the group of like how you think our picks of investigators and our strategies will go. Does that seem like worthwhile discussion? I'm literally not looking at show notes. I could be adding 40 minutes to the episode. I don't know. I don't care. I'm a guest host.
Adding 40 minutes is the Mythos Busters way.
That's right, man.
Yeah, that's
you act
right.
like that's just not the way we operate.
Yeah.
There are really only a very few scenarios where I would think that they are worth specifically preparing for. Most of the challenges lie in the global mechanics of the campaign. So as long as you're prepared to deal with concealed and getting cards hollowed from your hand, it doesn't really matter where you go. The only thing is, like, if you want to go to Marrakesh early, then bring a better fighter that can actually put something out and have an evader on hand for when you have 3 elites facing you and 3 of the zombies somewhere else and all the stuff. Yeah. Or if you want to go to Shanghai and meet Umbrella Girl, then you probably need to prepare for that a little bit. But otherwise,
I think we're avoiding.
I was about to say all in favor.
I think that is a very good point.
We're all like, no, we don't go to Shanghai. That's fine.
I mean, you can go to Shanghai, collect Flint, and then not follow anyone to I think it's Kuala Lumpur, where she ultimately is.
Yes.
Yeah. But,
which seems good because Flint is a good NPC to have by my estimation, especially if we assume that the decoy concealed mechanic is going to get battier in high count multiplayer. He's going to be
it will.
Yeah, well, it almost definitely will.
one of the nastier things about concealed that you don't really see in low player counts is that the concealed enemies get a lot worse once they start overlapping, and you can't really go and do the memory game anymore and know which decoys came from which enemy. Also, once you deal with the last concealed enemy on the board, I think all decoys leave. And if you have 4 players, that is a lot more difficult to do, unless everyone brings some way to fight and go against them.
Well, okay, so I guess on a broader level, if we're considering, concealed and decoys and the hollowing mechanic to be kind of the landmark mechanics that you're fighting against in the scenario, what sort of player cards, investigators, strategies should people consider to properly counter those mechanics?
So concealed is a pretty complicated mechanic, I would say. Mechanically dense. One
Nick
of those
down
things
there
where
nodding because he has to answer all of the rules questions related to concealed as his job now.
Oh, trust me. When concealed comes up, my eyes glaze over, and I rely on the rest of the team to handle it because I'm like, I don't know. Even when you and I played, I was like, I feel like I should know, but I don't.
Something where you, as prep, definitely want to check the FAQ and what else people have written about it and get that somewhat secure at least.
Mm-hmm.
But the gist of it is that you can use your high skill values and any testless clues, damage, or evades that you can do to spend those and uncover these decoys and get to the actual enemy, which is hidden somewhere behind that. And this is at the lowest level some sort of action tax that you have to pay to get this enemy done, and you don't really know how many actions an enemy is going to take. Like this basic cultist-like guy which comes into play with 1 Doom. He has, I think, concealed 3, so he comes into play with 3 decoys in addition. So you might actually use 4 actions just to get him. That is a lot. That is really, really a lot. So what you want is ways to cheat past this mechanic somehow. This can be any free triggers that you have that deal the damage, like exhausting a beat cop can help here, or anything like that. And if it's repeatable, it's good, and so on. If you have a high skill value, that's good. It doesn't even matter which skill it is. This is one of the campaigns where you can go into the campaign with Nathaniel, and if there's nothing to fight right there, doesn't matter. You can use your 5 skill to start and uncover some decoys and be useful all the time.
And is it just my imagination, or are the shroud values generally a little bit higher
They are.
Okay, all right. I'm just making sure. Sometimes I feel like I'm just bitching.
I think
bitch,
like
but
4 is the standard.
They are
standards.
hired to facilitate this mechanic, right? Because
facilitate's a word. I don't know if it's the one I would have picked to obfuscate, to make more difficult, to infuriate. High shrouds.
If it was trivia, it wouldn't have needed to exist, right? So
I guess that's.
I get what they're doing. I guess.
Yeah.
I think what we also need to do, to the point of with concealed, and Nick, for when your eyes glaze over or getting questions during the con, I think we should pitch to the rest of the con team. How about we get a banner printed up that said all concealed questions go here, and then we put it behind MJ.
Yeah. Oh, yes. I thought you were going to say put it behind me.
No, see, I value our friendship.
And this is all MJ's fault.
Yeah.
So
I also value MJ's friendship, but
That's
she made the mess, so.
That seems.
And I think Duke
fair.
had a hand too, so I think we can
there we
toss
go.
him in there a little bit.
There we go.
Okay, so you've got any of your little additional triggers. We'll talk about the investigators we've chosen and kind of what our concealed tech is intended to be. Is there really anything you can do about the hollow mechanic outside of just being able to hit if I remember correctly, hit a high willpower test to try to get one back off that one treachery? But like, is there any real way to like interact with or mitigate the hollow mechanic at all?
My approach to hollowing is just don't worry about it. It's fancy discard. It doesn't really do a whole lot. Just accept that you're going to lose a card here or there. You would do this with other campaigns as well, just that you would put them in the discard instead of a set-aside area. And there are a few payoffs, and especially the Without a Trace scenario has a lot of it. But as a general rule, the difference between discard and hollowing is mostly psychological and doesn't really do a whole lot in the scenario itself.
Comforting words. I'm going
to
take those to heart.
If you want to mitigate it, don't do things like play 3 aces in your deck and then complain that one of them got snatched by an Outworlder. Or, I don't know, don't put all your faith in the one copy of True Magic in your deck and then see your deck crumble when it gets eaten randomly.
So both singletons and myriad cards are potentially problematic.
Potentially, right. just
sounds more like don't rely on one thing for your deck.
Well,
to
that's what I learned in our playthrough, Nick, is that I should never willingly hollow my sixth sense, because even if I have the one out and I don't need the second one, there's that treachery that will, or there's some effect that will look at the hollows you have, and if you've got it in play or in your hand, it does something bad. So.
Because that's like your brain tells you that's the play, right? I have this I have it in play already. I don't need the one in hand. I'll hollow that one. And then the scenario's like, you hollowed a copy of something in play. You're gonna take whatever it is. I don't know.
I think it discards the card that's in play, if I recall correctly. It's like a sniper, not Frozen in Fear, Crypt Chill. It's like a sniper Crypt Chill.
Right.
All right. Well, okay. So that being said, hollowing, you just deal with it and do your best to not hollow cards you really want, to the extent that you can do that.
Yeah, until it takes it from the top of your deck or whatever.
I just realized I forgot 2 things to mention about the concealment thing. So
sure, yeah.
If I can throw that in, there are 2 ways to cheat this a little bit. Like the high skill value and the test list thing, that's what they expect you to do, and what's basically the mechanic is. But you can cheat it a bit, either by using one of the abilities that lower shroud values. Like if you have the breach the door something and just drop a location shroud to 0, then you have a nice little base where you can just discard all the decoys and stuff easily.
And this is where your Bob Skeleton Key deck comes in.
Yeah, Skeleton Keys on my upgrade path for sure.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
I didn't even know for sure that
I
you
could
had
throw
chosen
Breach the Door
Bob.
and Vincent too.
Yep.
And the other thing is that concealment only triggers when you spawn the enemy. So if you put it into play in your threat area, then it will just go there. Two very good cards to play in Scarlet Keys are what's it called? Kicking the Hornet's Nest and On the Hunt. Those two work and bypass that. They are very good in
or how about Where's the Party? Does that work there too?
Where's the Party doesn't work. And the other one,
that one
and the other
enemy.
one, Stalk Prey, also doesn't work.
Damn.
So that got fixed for chapter 2.
Yeah. Fix like a dog,
plugged.
you mean. Oh man. All right. Shall we talk about the investigators we've chosen? We've beat around the bush a little bit, but I guess let's talk about it. So, for my part, just as we were kind of talking through stuff, Justin, did you have something to say? Oh, okay. Sorry, you're doing the face. Yeah, okay, never mind. So
It's just
for
my
part,
face.
that's just, well, you know,
It's just
can't help but looking at you. We ended up kind of splitting up roles a little bit. We've decided that in a bigger way than in most campaigns past, we all need to flex a little bit harder than we might have otherwise, simply because of concealed and because we're going to be splitting up, and it will just be easier if everyone has a little bit more flexibility than we might have built in for like Carcosa or something like that. So of course I've picked a Mystic. I initially was comboing off of Nick's choice of Vincent and was gonna play a Parallel Agnes, who I quite enjoy. I suppose it also bears saying we specifically have decided to play with Chapter 1 cards as our meta. Chapter 1 with the latest taboo. And I'll point out again, and I know I mentioned this on stream last time, but the dividing line between Chapter 1 and Chapter 2 is socially constructed. Aside from your ability to get a hold of the cards, which I recognize is a thing. So, optional. You guys, everyone gets to decide what pool of cards you want to play with. If you want to play with Chapter 2 stuff, you do it. We have decided to stick to Chapter 1 since that's kind of what was out at the time of this campaign. So, I'm playing, ultimately, Jacqueline Fine. We have also, in our team, kind of taken on a soft rule that I can't remember if we followed 100%, but we've followed it fairly far, where when someone has taken an investigator through an Ironman, that investigator is then retired for future Ironmans. So anyway, that precluded Agnes for me. So I ultimately went with Jacqueline Fine. It's going to be a fairly Clouvery type deck, so we're packing Sixth Sense, we're packing Clairvoyance, and then we're just doing some like general flexible Mystic stuff. We're going to be doing Storm of Spirits, hopefully. But the whole idea of the deck is to just spam upgraded Sixth Sense. And if you recall, when you pull a symbol token on upgraded Sixth Sense and you're investigating, you get to pick another location, and you are simultaneously investigating in both places. So the idea there is not only is that going to be good to grab clues, but when needed, it can be used to target a location that has a decoy on it or a concealed card on it and pop concealed cards when need be as kind of a bonus there. So I think that's pretty much all there is to say about it. I'll share the list eventually when I finalize it, though obviously we have a little bit of testing to do before we get to that point. But yeah, Sixth Sense spam Jacqueline Fine is my pick. Nick, what you got?
As mentioned earlier, I'm playing Vincent in my deck. Vincent Lee in the deck is titled Call an Ambulance, but not for Lee. I was fairly happy with how it performed during our little test. I tested it at 29 experience. Basically, I'm just looking for, I want to be juicing everybody's skill tests, and I want to be healing and having free damage pings here and there, or free clues, whatever ends up happening. So, some cards that don't normally see play that I'm including are things like True Understanding as a skill card in here. because there's skill tests on a lot of scenario cards in Scarlet Keys, and getting a free clue off of any of those tests will help with popping concealed cards. That's the goal. My ally of choice is Witten Green at level 0, and then either upgrade out of her to Girish or get Charisma. I think I'm getting Charisma. I don't even think it's a question at this point. Get Charisma and then upgrade Witten later on if we have the extra experience for it. Dream Diary is the focus, I guess you could say, of the deck, but I really don't try to rely on it too much. Yes. And Dream Diary, I went with 1 copy of Explorer and 1 copy of Madman in our Madman in our test. And I came to find out that Explorer is worthless. Why put Explorer? Yeah, like in this particular build, what I want to do, I was like, no, I need the skill icons when I'm engaged with an enemy. So I'm going to do 2 copies of Madman when we get there.
Because Explorer it gets the extra icons when your Shroud is 4 or higher, yeah?
4 or higher, which in my head, I was like, that's going to be all the time. But then when we played it, it wasn't when I needed it. And lo and behold, I was engaged with enemies like crazy.
Yeah, I like to run that
I was
alongside Cryptographic Cipher when you can do the little free action and get +1 Shroud. You can do some nonsense there, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's cute, but I'm trying to avoid too much cuteness and just go for stuff that works overall. I do really like Cryptographic Cipher, though. I love that card. Regardless, I'm also bringing Longshot for damage that you can just use to pop a concealed card. I'm probably going to bring Contemplative for the same thing.
That's the clue version,
that's the
right?
Investigate Parlay version. Yes. Yep. Yeah. It's other than that, it's just, hey, everyone take in the thick of it so I can heal you and give you skills right away. So
we love that, and especially if we can get, like I said, if we can get the last Blossom early, like that's going to be so fire.
It'd be great.
Justin, what you got?
So we decided on where to go. I am taking Michael McGlenn and lots of guns.
In Michael? No.
Yeah. Lots of guns, lots of big money stuff. But then also playing around with extra actions. From quick thinking and swift reflexes. And then also using sleight of hand to get some extra shooting in along with things, and then having it pop back. And
did you end up still running the Luger in that build, so you get like the free shot, the actionless shot, like once a turn?
Yep.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yep, got that. I think Robert Castigan is the ally in there, just so again some of the potentially the upgraded version can get firearm out, just pop damage again if needed. I think we have haste in.
Robert is insane.
Yeah, I think we have haste in there, so I can just shoot a bunch.
I'd be really eager to see Michael McGlenn in Marrakesh. That would be really fun, I think.
Yeah.
That's
the
target.
idea.
That's a target-rich environment that he can completely play to his strength.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the only thing we were still working through with it conceptually was, so the rogue, we were talking about this other day, right, Sean? The Rogue 45 Thompson.
Oh yeah.
Or what is the Gatling gun, or the ones where it's then divide or do additional damage.
Oh.
With concealed. Right? And so it's with the 45 Thompson, I think it replaces the whole thing.
You can only reveal 1 concealed card per action.
Right, but would it do for that, would it damage, let's say I'm shooting an actual enemy there.
Yeah.
Could I shoot the enemy and ping a concealed card?
Yeah. But you couldn't like use it to then ping another concealed card or something.
Right. So like if I did then Gatling gun, same idea where it's divided, but I can only do one of them.
Yeah, you can assign Gatling gun. You could assign one point of the damage,
but it couldn't be like, oh, there's 3 cards here, boom, 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 boom. No, it's because that's correct. The extra rule on top of concealed is you can only do 1 per thing. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So anyway, still working through that top end of it, but the point is just to have a bunch of guns flying, extra actions,
extra ammo, and
Yeah.
I've got the 45 Thompson on screen right now just so people can see what we're talking about. The ability on it is if you exceed by at least X, you can spend an ammo to deal the attack's damage to another enemy at your location. You have to succeed by X, where X is that enemy's fight value. So it's a little bit nebulous how that works with concealed, but I think the spirit of it at least would be that X is the shroud if you're using that to hit a concealed enemy or a concealed card. Yeah. Yeah, I know. I understand that there's probably not a definitive answer to be had.
I'm reticent to say anything. I'm reticent to say anything.
But it could run the other. It could run the other way though, couldn't it? So you get this and damage if you succeed by.
So, yes, you're right. I think
yeah.
the way you'd have to do it is you'd have to attack the concealed card, and then if you exceed the shroud of the location, you then deal damage to a regular enemy. Because technically,
Concealed cards are not enemies.
Concealed cards don't have a fight value. No, they don't have a fight value. You interact with them as if they were enemies, but they don't have a fight value.
So
yeah, that's my thought. Without having Reed here to back
yeah, and
me
so
up,
you're
that's my
losing that
thought.
one extra damage right on the concealed card. But if they have a high enough fight value, you're still getting to do the 2-for-1, which is why you would do it.
Yes.
So anyway, I'm
ultimately
sure we'll talk.
a really good.
Yeah,
it was a good pull because it works with sleight of hand, even tabooed. So.
Oh sure, yeah. That is the benefit of the Thompson over the Gatling gun, is that you can sleight of hand out the Thompson, which is huge.
Wait, I missed that.
Anyway, I'm very excited to see. What's that? Sorry.
I missed that part of it. I just like the gun.
So sleight of hand, the most recent taboo of sleight of hand lets you put into play an item asset of level 3 or lower. It doesn't care about hand size. It cares about the level. So you could sleight of hand out the Thompson, shoot, and then end of the round it goes back to hand. Gatling gun gives you more freedom in how you're assigning damage, which is that's its strength. But you can't do the sleight of hand trick. You have to hard cast it, and you're invested that hard cast. This isn't magic. You have to play it.
Yes.
Well, three things then.
Yeah.
One, I'm eventually bringing both because I like them both, and I'm going to be shooting a bunch.
Yes.
Two, good to know because when I've been playing through, I definitely did the thing I occasionally do with level and cost and not reading that closely enough.
Oh, sure.
And I'm like, but it's 5 cost. That's not what that card said. So if I read more closely, so that gun just got better. And 3, Big Kahuna mentions over in chat pitching embezzled treasure with this build, and yes, that is in the mix of stuff I am trying out. It has gone from 1 or 2 rounds where it didn't do anything to another one where I maxed it out. So,
and does that grant XP?
No, it's resources.
What's the reward on that?
It's resources at the start of the next turn for every 2 that you pile on there up to 10. An investigator gets to start with an extra resource. So if you've got it going, then you could have 5 extra just to start among the 4 of us to start the next scenario.
Very solid.
So I don't know.
I mean, you're probably going to be picking yourself for the vast majority of those resources.
I got news for yes, unless others, need them, and so I'm still playing around with that one.
Right.
But once you get XP in that deck, at least the last list I saw, it actually is pretty efficient because between sleight of hand and upgraded Robert, you rarely have to fully pay for your guns, or if you do, it's only once or twice. So, and then you're getting the money back on the shots, and I'm very excited to see that deck pop off. It looks like a lot of fun.
Oh my god! Now that I actually,
if I were not doing Jacqueline, I would be doing Michael.
Yeah. Now that I actually know how the cards work, I'm gonna adjust a little.
That does help. Cool, Justin. Anything else on Michael before we move on?
No, he's rich and it goes boom.
That's exactly what we need. Ian, is it fair to say that among us you have had the most trepidation on landing on a specific investigator?
That is very fair to say, and way more trepidation than usual Ironmans. So I heard you want help paying for guns, Justin. I have an investigator for you. I have chosen to play Bob. I initially was toying with the idea of doing Preston and doing a double build, but I'm very nervous of playing Investigator with all ones and Scarlet Keys and trying to hit skill tests. And it's been established on the podcast that Preston is the rogue that I'm least fond of. At least the one that I've played the least. So like trying to take that on in this specific campaign is daunting, and like, yeah, being that reliant on a specific shtick, all those reasons. And then you have Bob, which I think every single campaign since Bob came out, I've been like, should I play Bob? And then everyone's like, oh, I don't really need items. Like, we kept having these investigator combinations where people didn't really have a lot of items to play for whatever reason. And then so this year I'm like, wait a minute, like I think this might actually be the year for Bob. I think all the other investigators have items they'd like to play, fair to say. And this is also a campaign where, I mean, every campaign action economy is important, but especially having to deal with these extra exposed tests we have to do. I think having Bob around to like spend some of his extra action on like helping people set up can help hopefully everyone free actions to expose those concealed cards. So that's kind of the thinking behind it. And I also tend to always play either a rogue or survivor for Ironman, so why not do both? Bob is basically a rogue and a survivor, so I'm still in the process of kind of working through exactly what the deck will be. I know for sure, like mentioned, Skeleton Key is going to be in there to lower Shroud. I know for sure, obviously, stuff to generate money so I can pay for my own items and also other people's items. So hopefully saving you all resources as well so you can spend on other stuff potentially, or not have to worry about generating resources. So that's part of it. The rest is going to be pretty much just flexi stuff to help expose some of those concealed cards is really the main focus. Anything that kind of does double duty, of course, like breaking and entering, that kind of thing. Another card that I'm looking at, which I think will be good for this campaign, is Fake Credentials, because it's a card that lets you do a test against an enemy at difficulty 0, and then you can discover a clue at your location. So basically that's kind of a cheat around having to test against the Shroud, because you're not testing against a Shroud to discover a clue and potentially expose your testing against a difficulty of 0, essentially. So Fake Credentials is one I'm looking at. I think those are kind of the main ideas. I'm really not looking to do anything. I wanted to avoid doing anything very, very combo heavy because of the hollow mechanic, even though we're kind of saying we're not going to worry about it too much. I'm worried about it just from the perspective of I don't want to like rely heavily on like a specific combo piece. So I'm not even leaning too hard into any very high XP cards, except for, I think Fake Credentials, the upgraded, would be my highest one. I'm just kind of trying to spread out and just have a bunch of tools available pretty much.
Well, and I don't think it's so much that we shouldn't worry about hollows. It's just we shouldn't delude ourselves into thinking we can do shit about it.
Worry about it while deck building, but don't worry about playing.
Yeah, that's fair to say. Yeah. You can't stop it from happening, but you can hopefully prevent it from ruining your whole deck by the way you build it.
Maybe a little stir the pot action in there?
Sure. Yeah.
Oh, just a thought.
When you're done with the deck, take it and see if you can completely dismantle it by picking 2 cards out of it. If you can, do something about it.
Yeah. That seems fair.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, that's the team. Michael, your thoughts? How are we looking so far?
Seems pretty solid. Like I really like the idea of Michael McGlenn really popping off, and the rest of the team definitely sounds good too. Jacqueline Fine is interesting because the final thing that Scarlet Keys is very notable to me is that it has an hellish chaos bag, like a really bad one.
Especially when you start stacking those cultist tokens. Whew.
And any bit of manipulation that you have can really help. And that's a good call for sure.
Yeah. So the one place that I'm thinking we're a little light, obviously we're all going to be flexy, aside from Justin, who's just a killing machine. We probably want to consider throwing in extra evading tech specifically, because I think if we're faced with a situation where enemies need evading, we're a little light on that up front. Like I'm gonna be running like Sword Cane, maybe I'll toss in like a Miss Aurelia or something. But yeah.
Sorry, Sean, you must have missed the point where I said I'm playing Vincent.
Well, I'm not looking at you.
Okay, good. Because with his one agility, that ain't happening.
You want to boost it up to 2 or 3.
All right, I'm gonna commit my On the Mend and my Dream Diary card and True Understanding and cool. I'm 6 to 5. Like, yeah.
Probably I do have some, like, I'm probably gonna have track shoes and Bob. I'm probably gonna have an ally that boosts my agility, so probably realistically I'll probably be sitting at like a 5 of agility, so I think I should be able to cover that.
You already mentioned breaking and entering.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and breaking and entering. Yep, for sure.
And I think, Justin, at least based on the list I was seeing, you've got some decent skills in there, and you've also got a fair few cards that just happen because they're rogue. They have double agility icons, so you might be able to flex when needed.
Yeah, and just from the run-throughs I've done, I can occasionally hit that, like something with agility, not super often, but hopefully that'll be rare just to make sure that I'm spending my time either moving or shooting.
Yeah. Well, all right. Double sword canes it is for me. Yeah, we'll make it work.
Yeah, Big Kahuna mentions in chat we might need more enemy management. Yeah, I think that's where the evade comes in, but I'm also, like I said, I'm still finalizing my Bob deck. I'm flexing, but I have a lot of clue stuff, so I'm trying to figure out exactly what I want to bring in terms of like dealing damage.
Yeah, and I was running Wither in our test last week, and I think if I'm leaning on Sixth Sense, it's a little bit too far to stretch to do Wither as well, because you only have so many ways to fix those symbol tokens. So I think I'll probably switch to something more basic, like a Shriveling or an Azure Flame or something like that. Oh no, I might get spicy and do Shards of the Void. Yeah, that's good in Jacqueline, right? Anyone?
Yeah, losing all those zeros out of the bag. I love that. That's fun.
I'll put them back.
Great for you, not great for me. Eventually you will.
For what it's worth, Bob can easily whip out a Gatling gun as well, by the way.
True.
And it's very good.
Very true.
Two Gatling
I really
guns?
like one high power gun in a Bob deck that just pops off at some point.
That speaks to me, like just pulls it out of his briefcase like El Mariachi style.
Well, but the important question is, if you're both running them, what's the plural of Gatling guns? Or is it Gatling's gun?
Gatling's gun.
Yeah.
Isn't English fun?
Gatsling gun.
Gatsling gun. Gatsling gun. Yeah.
All right, so a little bit more enemy management, a little bit of thought toward evading. Otherwise, I think it seems like a pretty fun team. We're obviously going to have to pull it together for a test stream, or even just if we meet up separately off stream. That if that's what we have to do, we'll have to do it that way. But I definitely want to hit dead heat at low XP with these decks a couple times so we know what we're doing on the day. Because, as pointed out, that could be a huge boon, or if we fuck it up, it could be a real boat anchor. So,
yeah, that can really make or break.
Yeah, exactly. So, Michael, if you were going to be joining us, and we're bringing a deck, what would you hint toward? Just all other things equal.
I would probably bring Agnes. You already mentioned her, and she's just very good for this campaign. And her pings that she gets all the time can go towards concealed triggers, and she's just a very good investigator in general. And the final thing about her is that I have her on my short list of investigators to play again anyways, because she has gotten a lot of goodies from the Chapter 2 cards. And she's
so good.
I just want to see her with Soul Links, with Scrape Buys, with a Loner in the deck, refueling from a canteen, and all these survivor cards in Chapter 2 are incredible for Agnes.
They're juicy. So if I hadn't retired Agnes, I had the deck plan. So it was just normal Agnes. You got her pings. You got Sword Cane for extra pings, and then I was going to be using like the survivor cards so Flare and what's the one that plays an ally out of discard pile?
Flare.
Chance Encounter.
Chance Encounter. Yes, Chance Encounter. Upgraded Chance Encounter to cheat in to summoned hounds. So that way you get up to 2 more actionless pings of damage or potentially clues. And it was the deck was called All the Small Pings. And I'm really sad that we've retired Agnes already. But also that
was your choice.
To the point earlier, that deck would also be really good and really effective, but that is also the kind of deck that's taking like 6 tests in a turn sometimes, and over the course of a full Ironman, while mechanically sound, that is gonna wear your brain down to a nubbin by the end of it. So I think ultimately I made the right choice, but I did have to mention the deck. Agnes is so good. My power couple for this campaign is always Agnes and Roland, just because between the two of them they can do some serious conceal, reveal. Yes.
Exposing.
Sure.
Is the mechanical word.
But it doesn't rhyme.
It doesn't. You're right.
So that is pretty much it. So do we have it in us to nail down a path right here, right now? Do we want to talk through that? Is that going to be good content? I don't know.
I think we gotta, now that we've talked about these things a bit, I think we gotta step back and then reconvene. I think we got some good food for thought from this discussion.
Yeah. So like I said, we will include the links for all of the guides and resources that we've talked about in the description for this video when it hops up on YouTube. We've tried to mention the websites as we've gone through. For those of you listening audio only, you'll have to find them that way. Michael, what's going on with Ancient Evils right now? Why don't you plug your stuff for a little bit? What can people find over there?
Well, Ancient Evils had a bit of a break for the last bit, but I just returned for some restarting into Arkham. Basically, I put out the first investigator tier list for Chapter 2. Obviously, it's very early for that. I acknowledge that, but you gotta start.
That's
somewhere.
Never stopped a tier list before.
And it's not meant to be anything definite. It's meant to start discussions, and nothing starts a discussion more than putting A or an B on an investigator and someone going, "Wait!"
Yep, true story.
So that's always good. And the other thing that I'm cooking right now is currently built on my table that I see next to me. I am playing an Ages Unwound campaign with Chapter 2 cards, and we'll do an detailed play-by-play of that. And that's going to start sometime next week.
Awesome. And then, of course, if anyone wants to check out your resources specific to the Scarlet Keys, that's in the Best Laid Plans series, correct?
Correct. There's I would point you towards the deep dive, which is yeah, that's the best laid plans thing. You can find all the deep dives in the top menu, and go from there to the Scarlet Keys and get right in there. The best laid plans for Scarlet Keys was extensive enough that I had to break it up into some sub pages as well. So plenty to read there if you want to start this Ironman journey or any other Scarlet Keys journey as well. If you want to see how much XP you can get in which scenario, and all those details I got there for you.
Excellent. Perfect. We'll close this segment for now, though. Everyone hang on. There's a little bit more. So Michael, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your expertise. I know this is going to be a harder one to plan than most. So I think everyone's going to be really glad for the guidance.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, guys, let's round this out. It's been a while with a little bit of tentacle time. So tentacle time, for those perhaps new to what we do here at Mythos Busters, is a moment where we share some of the non-Arkham things that are currently grabbing us. So I don't want to spring anything on you, Michael, though you are the guest. I'd let you go first if you've got something that you'd like to mention, or several things if you like.
Well, when I'm not playing Arkham, I'm mostly playing some video games or whatever, and I'm rotating through a roster of various stuff, mostly some roguelites, all those sort of things. And one thing that did grab me for a little bit more, and is part of the reason why I took a bit of a break, was that I got half addicted to The Last Caretaker. That's a little game in the survival crafter space that combines the usual trappings of that with I'm almost willing to call it something like Power Wash Simulator or something, where you just meticulously clean up everything so you can build new stuff from it later on, and it's just this zen thing where you build bases and explore and stuff, and that was a good thing that I had recently. But there's just so much on my Steam bucket that I'm playing. Slay the Spire, of course, like everyone else, and all those games. Yeah.
I was really late to Slay the Spire. I picked it up a few times and I was like, oh, this is good. I understand this, but I was trying to play it on my phone, which I have found that I just don't play games on my phone anymore, so it kind of puttered for me. But God, that's a good one. Have you played the second one? I haven't touched it at all yet.
Yes, I have.
Okay.
I never.
What compared to the first one? Good, bad?
Two thumbs up. Skip the first one.
Oh,
like if you
the first one, he says.
If you get in now and have never played any of them, you might as well start with the second one.
Okay. And have you played around with the multiplayer at all? That's the most intriguing part to me. Is that too?
I have. It's a different game, but it's fun too. And I can recommend that. It scales very weirdly, but so does Arkham, right? And yeah. there's a very very similar thing happening there, where the numbers scale weirdly, but somehow it works out.
Interesting. Okay. All right. I'm super intrigued. We got Nick. We eventually got to get around to that. Well, and you other guys too. I know Justin, you played the first one. Nick, what's grabbing you lately?
I find it interesting that you say that you just can't play games on your phone, because I have been playing Slay the Spire on my phone every day for like the last 5 years or whenever it came out on mobile. I still haven't jumped to the second one. That first one's just so good, but I will eventually. I will limit myself to... I'm trying to think real quick if I've watched anything recently that I thought... Oh yeah, I'll limit myself to 3 things. 2 video games and a movie. We'll start with the movie. My wife and I just watched Primitive War recently. Just finished it last night, actually. Which is it's a Vietnam War movie with the premise of what if there were dinosaurs in Vietnam, and that's the movie. It is incredibly stupid, but it is a wild ride. And for being what is ostensibly an indie film, like we're watching it and all the studio names are coming up at the beginning, and I'm like, I don't recognize not even from like my knowledge of indie films. I'm like, I don't know any of these studios. I don't know who made this movie. Like, I have no idea. But Jeremy Piven's in it, and Trisha Helfer are in it, which are like the two big names, quote unquote. Trisha Helfer's not as big as Jeremy Piven, obviously, but people would know her from Battlestar Galactica.
Her.
She played the front and center android or whatever they're called. I should just stop. Anyway, Primitive Wars are good. It's worth a watch if you like crazy, bloody, violent dinosaur action. It's got that. And then the games that I've been playing, Dead as Disco. I recently bought on Steam. I bought that a few weeks ago, which it's in its early access and you can feel it when you play it. But I don't know if any of you are familiar with the premise of Dead as Disco. It is a rhythm beat 'em up, and boy is it fucking addicting. It is really like it's hitting so many notes for me. Haha, rhythm. Because I love rhythm games, absolutely love rhythm games, and I love fighting games and beat 'em ups. And there's the option to like import your own music, but it's like you need to input the BPM of the song. And I've done that a few times, but it never turns out as good. And plus the music they have just baked into the game is so like, obviously it's made for that experience. It's so perfect. So Dead as Disco is definitely worth checking out. I'm excited for when more stuff releases for that. Cause right now it has like the grid of like 9 levels, but you can only play like 4 of them, you know? So, and then what else? I guess WoW it continues to be and will forever be a thing. I'm still playing it. Content in WoW has not been grabbing me as much, so I haven't been doing as much like, you know, gearing up and all that I used to do. But I've been role playing a lot, and that's always fun. Oh, I suppose semi-WoW related. Wizards of the Coast announced an official crossover with World of Warcraft. So we're going to see Dungeons and Dragons cross World of Warcraft official books. It looks like there's like a source book, there's a campaign, there's a couple of different options. I'm really excited for those. I'll probably be getting those physical and digital because I just more options to use them.
How is that only just happening?
Yeah.
God, those properties have
Right?
been playing around in the same space for so long.
The yeah, it is pretty surprising that it's taken this long. There was a World of Warcraft TTRPG, you know, back in like 2006. But it was based off of Sword and Sword. That's its own thing. And there is a 5th edition, D&D 5th edition fan hack, you know, where fans made World of Warcraft classes, and it's pretty robust. There's a lot to it, like the full adventures and multiple books and and all that. And so that subreddit has been kind of blowing up with this official release. And a lot of people talking about like, will it be worth jumping from the fan made one to the official one? Regardless, I'm excited. I think it's 2 of my favorite things to do. D&D and World of Warcraft is being brought together. So hard to say no to that.
Cool. Ian, what's grabbing you right now?
I will say that Dead as Disco that definitely intrigues me, but I saw it was in early access, so I wasn't sure whether I should just wait or not. So, but maybe I'll worth it. Maybe I'll just go for it. It's definitely hitting exactly what I want. Let's see. In terms of Tentacle Time stuff, well, I guess the main thing over the past couple months is the World Cup. That took up most of my free time. Yeah. I think I watched like 90 soccer matches because there's like 103 total or something, 104 total or something, and I watched most of them. So it was probably like 90 matches I watched over the course of a month. So fair to say that was a good bit of my Tentacle Time. I also ran a Kickstarter for an expansion to my Up the Table football soccer management roll and write game, which is World Cup focused. So I've been working on finishing and finalizing that. In terms of non-soccer, non-game development related stuff in terms of actual free time. I think one of the main newer board games I've been playing a lot is Heat, which is I don't know if I mentioned this on a past episode, but it's a racing board game. But I'm really enjoying that because I've played some other racing board games in the past, but I really like the kind of deck building approach that it takes to racing instead of a lot of the other ones are more dice focused, and this one is like uses some of the similar mechanics, but it has this whole like deck building aspect to it, which is a lot of fun. So it's another iteration of like, sometimes I don't like deck builders when they're just by themselves, but when deck building is integrated into a different game type like Dune Imperium or this one, then I really like it. So I guess that's my jam, I'm finding.
Yeah, I mean, a well implemented deck builder is a glorious thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Justin, what's grabbing you?
God, what a segue. What a segue for me. I jumped back to Ascension. I love me a deck builder. And
Nice.
Our buddy Brian was
Classic.
asking about Ascension because apparently there is a Game Found campaign where it's now getting skinned with Lord of the Rings, which he loves. And he said something like, "Hey, does anybody know about Ascension?" And then both my brother and I immediately like raised our hands online, and we both gone back down the rabbit hole of playing. I'm actually playing that one on. I rarely play on my phone, but the digital implementation of that is so good. So I've been doing that because, boy, just as a pure deck builder, it's so fun. Let's see. The other phone thing I had tried recently, because I was thinking of this when you guys were talking about Slay the Spire. I tried Monster Train. Finally got on that.
Oh, yeah.
It's good, but like I get the shtick. I've done the thing. I just kind of bounced off it after a while. Again, I think it executes it very well, but I just wanted to do other stuff with my time.
Did it just pale compared to Slay the Spire?
I wouldn't even compare them because it's been a while since I played Slay the Spire, and they're doing different things, but it was more just yes, this is, I get why people like it. It just didn't grab me at the time. So, I've been spending my time otherwise actually playing Arkham, so that's an anomaly. Or let's see, what did I have on my list? I've been watching TV. I don't usually watch a ton of it, and I've been going back just like I needed a mindless summer watch. And I'm a big fan of trashy TNT shows from like the early 2000s. They're mindless. You know, you kind of know how they're going to end, right?
Yeah.
I think I mentioned this on a past episode. I've recently watched through The Librarians. And I went back to one of my old favorites, Leverage. They do like heisty stuff. And yeah, it's just dumb TNT grade TV schlock. So been doing that. And the reason for going to that for it like a summer thing is we just got a second dog again. So been a lot of that's just here, there, everywhere with new dogs. And then I just need to let my brain be.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yep.
It's a lot. I'm trying to remember other schlocky TNT shows from the La Femme Nikita is the only one coming.
I mean, and it all fits in that like it's that or the USA Network or others. I'm simultaneously for the first time watching White Collar. Me as a person, I've watched all 15 seasons of Supernatural, so just. I don't know. My favorite thing is when I tell people that and they're like, "That doesn't fit what I know of you." I'm like, "Thank you."
I guess I'm too ignorant to know what the cultural concept of Supernatural is. Like,
it's like
what doesn't match.
No, because it's not like great TV.
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
where it's just kind of like the like highly serialized, jumping the shark a little early kind of.
And just it's more the like, I don't know. I'll eat a Michelin star restaurant. And then a local dive, and Supernatural's the local dive, and it's fine. And prestige HBO shows are here.
Makes sense. Well, I guess for my part, so Arkham's biggest competitor for my time for a while has now been Star Wars Unlimited. So when I'm at the table and I'm not doing Arkham, I'm probably doing Star Wars Unlimited, just because, well, there's lots of cards to sort. It turns out, and every time a new set comes out, it is like a 3-week prison that I build for myself of sorting the cards, fitting the new cards into Twin Suns decks that already exist, and then making new decks as well, and then like getting all the stuff that had came out of the old Twin Suns decks sorted. It's a prison. I built it. I live here now. But
no, it's but the nice thing is that they made a game for Star Wars. In addition to all that, so like, yeah, that's what you do with your Star Wars cards. But luckily, when you're done with that, you can play.
That is true. In theory,
I hear the game's kind of fun.
It's optional. Though.
I'm still. Yeah, it was because I'm still sorting all mine too, because that's what you do.
In addition to the solo rules. But yeah, luckily, outside of I think Justin, a lot of the people that I had been playing one-on-one Star Wars with. It kind of lost interest and it just kind of petered out. But luckily, just about everyone that I have played Star Wars with thus far still is very excited to play Twin Suns, the multiplayer, like commander-like format, which is great. It's pretty fantastic. So yeah, I've got like 16 Twin Suns decks built. So that's been fun. And like it Star Wars Unlimited is its own game, and if you've played the single-player mode, you've got the idea of it. But Twin Suns specifically tickles the deck-building part of my brain in a way that the single-player doesn't even touch. And it tickles it in right. Like the Lord of the Rings LCG type of way, where you're trying to figure out, like, all right, I've got my deck, but it's also like hinged on this combination of the two leaders you pick out and how they interact with the rest of your deck, and it's just such a fun time. So I highly recommend, if you have yet to play Twin Suns, do it. And I'll just throw it out there that Sunday is generally when we have played dead card games at Old BusterCon. I couldn't say for sure how much focus is being put in that direction by the Arkham Con team. But if anyone wants to play Twin Suns on Con weekend on Sunday, we can make that happen. We can definitely make that happen. It's a very fun, multiplayer format for a card game, which I love. Like, I was a huge Melee fan for Thrones. I own a bunch of Commander decks, even though I've only played like 2 games of Commander. That's saying something.
That's how they get you.
Yeah.
I think I'm maybe wrong, but I think more people own Magic cards now than actually play Magic. Like, I think that is the world we live in.
I mean, with how much they're mining, like the properties and the nostalgia.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, that's how they got me. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Commander deck is just a romp through the arcade games of my childhood. Sure. And it's well, they laid the trap and they got me. I bit that bait knowing it was bait. So anyway, but beyond card games, I think I've been finally making serious progress into the second Horizon game, Forbidden West, which those games are criminally underrated, I think. I don't know what it is about them. Maybe when they release, they're releasing alongside something that kind of...
Yeah, you know what the second one released alongside?
Was it Tears of the Kingdom?
It was like just before Elden Ring.
Oh, yeah, that's a problem. And that's...
Yeah.
I can fully say for my part that's what prevented me from hopping on it right away, despite the fact that I was a huge fan of the first game.
And then also I've heard nothing but good things about the Horizon games, but also I think the developer went, like, in an interview of the second one, the director or someone said, like, something to the effect of, like, well, not every game can be as good as Elden Ring, okay? Like, you could tell he was kind of, like, bitter. So that's silly. I should find the link to that interview because it was.
I'd like to live in a world where both are possible, though. You certainly can't be playing both at once,
Absolutely.
And that is a problem. You can,
right.
like, I don't know. I only have it in me to play one giant open world game at a time, and they have stacked up the last little while. You got Elden Ring, and then Night Rain came out. I was playing for Ghost of Tsushima, and now Ghost of Yote is sitting on my shelf to be played at a certain point. Anyway. Got back to finally putting some serious time into Forbidden West. If you don't know, the Horizon games They have kind of a setting that's not too dissimilar from like Earthborn Rangers, where it's like a post-apocalypse. The apocalypse happened, the world settled, and now we are like post-recovery in the post-apocalypse world. But the defining feature of the Horizon series is that there's a terraforming system that has created all of these robot dinosaurs and giant robot creatures that are huge and threatening and really fun to interact with. And there's just a crazy amount of strategy to elemental damage, and you can like peel armor off them to get critical hits at weak points, and it's just such a fun time. And you can eventually learn to hack and override and mount some of the creatures. And in the first one, all you could do is one that is basically just like a big horse, and it made sense. But in this new game, you can mount a giant warthog and just go like full Dane Ironfoot. And then you can mount like they're called Claw Striders. They're basically velociraptors. You can just like ride around on a big robot velociraptor. So anyway, having real fun time with that. If you haven't checked out the Horizon games before, do that.
Sean, it was right there. You mount a warthog, you go ham. Right there, man.
I missed it. Thank you for the save. And then the one unexpected one before we wrap up here is I ended up through a confluence of weird gift giving decisions getting a Switch 2. I'll explain offline. But anyway, it wasn't expected that I was going. I didn't plan to get a Switch 2. Just a confluence of circumstances came together that it made sense to do it now, especially because I think we're expecting the price on it to start to go up. But alongside it, I ended up getting Pokopia, which is essentially like their it's a poke.
So Stardew Valley.
It's kind of Stardew. It's kind of what's the other one, the other Nintendo series that's like this. New Horizons is the one that just came out.
Harvest Moon.
Harvest Moon is one. It's not the one I'm thinking of. It's
I don't play these games, so I don't know.
Nintendo farming game. Why? No, that's not it.
Something Island, isn't it? Fuck.
You know what's really bad? My wife is
5 old men struggle to remember.
My wife is actively playing this game right now. It's in my biosphere, and I just cannot remember. Holy cow! All right, well, we'll come to it anyway. Anyway, Pokopia is really fun. It's got the perfect amount of like the little
Animal
like,
Crossing.
Animal Crossing. That's the one. Thank
there
you.
It is.
Closest to Animal Crossing of the games that are like it that I've played. But it's got this really cool mechanic where you build habitats. So it's got like a heavy crafting mechanic, right? So for instance, if you want to build the picnic table habitat, you got to have some long grass next to a picnic table, and certain type of Pokemon will appear in that habitat. So as you're trying to collect and spawn Pokemon, there's this whole building mechanic that goes with it to do it, and it is remarkably engaging. I don't often lock into games like this. I see the value, but I don't lock in very often. This one's got me, and because you're not playing a human trainer, you're playing a Ditto that is impersonating a human. So you're running around as a human, but you're technically a Pokemon. All the Pokemon speak to you in full dialogue instead of just saying their name. And it's adorable and really cute, and like so much of the writing for the Pokemon for some reason uses the word yo in the way that I love to use it, where like you'll set a Pokemon on a task and then he'll come back and be like, yo, building's done, yo, like job's done, and yeah, give me that berry, yo.
Wait, the Pokemon are building for you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you gather the materials, and then you have to, like, say you want to build a house unit. You have to gather the materials for it. You put the plot down, and then you have to go find a specific group of Pokemon, depending on the thing that you're building, that have like the build skill and the mash skill and these things, and then you set them to work on it, and it's like a little timed thing.
So you can't just be like, pick a Pokemon, watch them build it, and then it comes out. Like if I have Ekans try and build something and he's like, I don't have hands, and you're like, I don't care, just do it. and then it comes out and it's just like a snake hole. You know, it's just like
It
some
just
little,
goes
like,
horribly
awful-
wrong. Yeah, no, unfortunately not.
It's yeah.
That would be really cool. I hope they add that for the DLC. But anyway,
Yeah, cater to that niche desire.
it just ended up being a game because I love Pokemon. I haven't really engaged with the series since around like the black and white generation, so like a very long time ago, like 2011, I want to say. It just didn't evolve enough for me, but I am so fucking hooked on Pokopia. It's a perfect little chill game, and I have fallen asleep to it more times than I care to admit. I'll wake up and the Switch is like laying here, and I'm like, oh, like an old man. Anyway,
sounds
no,
riveting.
that's the point. Is it's chill and relaxing and cozy.
Yeah. Okay.
To my own detriment sometimes.
I've not once fallen asleep. I've not once fallen asleep to Dead as Disco. So
Well, that is to Dennis Disco's credit.
don't look at my score. The score might suggest I have, but I actually haven't. I've been playing the whole time.
So anyway, check Pokopia out if you're like me and like haven't done much with Pokemon in a while. It's a good little window back in. All right, guys. Well, I think that's gonna wrap us up for today's episode. Michael, thank you again for coming on. Nicholas, thank you again for hopping back on with us.
Always a pleasure.
And we will see you guys next time on Mythos Busters. You know.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
There's that thing again. Huh. That was weird.
Huh.
Bye.